officials from the county. I'm not sure whether we have Mr. Albert Monique here. I have apologies from Maria and Zomo. They have a meeting in Kisumu, so but I think she has already sent Mr. Kagai to represent her. I had also talked to the CAS, Anne Nyaga. Unfortunately, she was traveling, so she's not going to be able to join us. However, let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you and the presenters that we'll be having this morning. This is a loaded topic, and I think of interest to all of us, where we are going to talk about opportunities for youth in the coffee value chain. One thing that is important to note is that if you remember, in October 1st, 2021, the International Coffee Organization launched Coffee Next Generation, a global initiative targeting talented and activated young people and entrepreneurs in the coffee sector. Now, you all know that the future of this important crop depends on the youth. We have not been able to really get them in that enterprise. However, today we have showcases that we can show where the involvement has helped in ensuring that we will have a sustainable coffee sector. So I think what is important to note is to enable these young men and women to build a prosperous and sustainable future. This initiative from ICO intends to provide them with access to finance and knowledge, skills development, coaching and training, as well as networking. So today we'll have an opportunity to have presenters, and some of them are trustees. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Solidaridad, thank Rainforest Alliance, thank GCP, and all the coffee stakeholders who have made it possible for us to continue having these webinars. So I think for more details as to how we'll move and our presenters, I hand over back to you, George, so that you can follow the sequence.
Thank you, Chairman. So as mentioned, Honorable Maria has a quick meeting this morning, so she's not able, but I don't know whether Kagai, you can just quickly mention, I don't know whether she gave you her speech or just quickly say a quick hi to everyone, and then we move on to the next person. Kagai? All right. Then Albert is also not yet in, and Enosh also has a quick meeting this morning, so he's not able to join. And of course, our chief guest, who was the CAS, happened to be traveling this morning, so unfortunately we won't also have. So I'd like to invite Stephen Kithuka, maybe quickly. I don't know whether you want to share your presentation. I can unshare this, but the floor is yours, Stephen.
Yes, good morning all. George, I already shared my presentation with Ivy. I don't know if she can share from our side.
Thank you.
Sharing it on your behalf.
Thank you.
You're able to see it?
Yes, thank you. So just to start off, my name is Stephen Kithuka, working with Solidaridad, East and Central Africa, as the regional head of programs. And with this morning, I just wanted to highlight a few initiatives that we are doing with the youth to enhance their involvement within the coffee supply chain in Kenya and also across the region. Ivy, can we move to the next slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to start off, for those who don't know Solidaridad, we are an international civil society organization with over 50 years of experience in developing solutions to make communities more resilient and create more sustainable supply chains. In East Africa, East and Central Africa, we are working in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia, and the DRC. And these are our core commodities because all our programming is hung out around supply chains. So we are in coffee, cotton and textile, dairy, fruits and vegetables, mining, gold and diamonds, and leather. Then we have livestock, palm oil, sugarcane, tea, maize, cocoa. So those are the commodities or supply chains that we focus on. And you can see some of our main funders there on the screen. So can we move to the next slide, please? Yes, so at Solidaridad, we see youth as critical drivers for improved agricultural productivity, sustainability, and creating innovative solutions to tackle the sector's challenges. And with this, what we try to do in our various projects, we try to empower the youth, both men and women, to provide farm management services to farmers, of course, at a fee. And by this, we are looking at creating jobs and decent incomes for them. And how do we do this? We do this through building their technical capacities on various issues. And of course, introducing them to the existing county extension systems or structure, and also the national government extension structure. Another thing that we do is we support inclusive platforms or multi-stakeholder platforms at community level and also at national levels, whereby we facilitate youth to engage in decision-making, to also ensure that they can speak about issues that influence their participation and also propose solutions to the same process. Another thing that we do is we try to foster equitable participation and empowerment of youth by ensuring that they also participate and engage in global supply chain engagements, such as conferences, webinars, exhibitions in the various regions. Because what happens in most cases, if we have a conference like SCAR, in Boston, for example, who attends? You find is the old men and women, and youth are left behind. So Solidaridad will come in and facilitate financially and technically to also ensure that our youth attend these kind of forums. Another thing that we do is we create awareness on the rights of youth in the coffee value chains, and we support youth CSOs, the local civil society organization, to lobby for enabling policies at different levels, starting from the coffee societies all the way to the county governments and to the national government. So that's one of the things that we are doing. Next slide, Ivy. Yes, so just to unpack what I've been saying is, for instance, one of the approaches that we use is to ensure some of the service provision is handled by the youth. And one of the examples that we have been doing is ensuring the youth become the owners or the managers of coffee nurseries, and also become the propagators And by doing this, we have seen youth coming in to bridge the gap in the coffee seedlings supply, and also ensuring that they get into job employment, and also generate decent incomes for themselves. Another thing that we are doing is training them on top working, grafting, amongst others, to ensure that they have this expertise and they can provide these services at a fee. And also with our farmers who are already having the old coffee varieties that needs to be converted to a better varieties. Another thing that we are focusing on is to train youth on coffee value addition, and on this we are looking at coffee roasting and also online marketing. And while on this, we are also looking at issues around gathering of fair data, because we realize without fair data, we cannot get to a point where we are talking about fair value distribution, where we are talking about transparency within the supply chains. And on this, we are banking on the youth to do so. So we are also building their capacities on such matters. We are also looking at diversification activities, because again, we keep on saying that the reason the youth are not getting involved in coffee farming is because it takes 3-4 years before they get the first proceeds. But what is it that they can do in between to also ensure that they're earning some income? So we are looking at dairy farming, we are looking at and also the value addition within the milk supply chain, like yogurt making. We are also looking at apiary, whereby we are setting up apiary units to be managed and run by the youth. And of course, we all know the demand for honey is too high, such that even the youth and with the hives that we have already supplied, they cannot meet. So these are some of the initiatives that we are rolling out within the region to ensure that youth get involved and also contribute to solving the challenges that confronts the coffee sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and also again, as the chairman reiterated, thank you also for supporting this process. Next, we have Susan Kinyua from Rainforest. So, Susan, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and good morning to everyone. So my name is Susan Kinyua. I work with Rainforest Alliance and a program called MSULI. In full, it stands for Mount Kenya Sustainable Landscapes and Livelihood Program, currently situated in the Mount Kenya region, where we are supporting Embu and Kirinyaga counties. Our office is located in Kerugoya town, so if you happen to pass by, karibu sana. So just to give an overview of who is ARRAY. ARRAY is a not-for-profit organization that currently has presence in over 70 countries globally. And we work mostly through sustainability projects and programs and through our certification program for various commodities, as you can see in the pictorial in the slide. So we work in certification of commodities such as coffee, tea, herbs and spices, avocado, cocoa, mangoes, amongst others. So under Rainforest Alliance, we have a program that I work under called the Mount Kenya Sustainable Landscapes and Livelihood Program that has a lot of interventions that can support the youth directly towards production of coffee sustainable as a current farmer and also as a future farmer. So the program is 5 years, ending on 31st July 2026, and is funded by IKEA Foundation with the spirit of working in integrated landscape management. As I said earlier, it's being implemented in 2 of the 6 counties around Mount Kenya, that is Kirinyaga and Embu County. Currently, we are covering 50,000 farmers, that is 25,000 farmers in tea and 25,000 farmers in coffee. And out of this, we are targeting 10% of those target beneficiaries to be youth. So the program thematic areas are mostly supporting the tea value chain, coffee, value chain, natural resource management, gender and youth inclusion. So the aspect of gender and youth inclusion is integrated into the various thematic areas that we currently support. So the program's desired impact is to improve the landscape value through increased biodiversity, improvement of quality of water, forests, amongst others. Our other desired impact is improved rural livelihood through a program that we are supporting that is called livelihood diversification, in order to stabilize and increase incomes at the household level. So the program's interventions are packaged into 4 pathways, that is resilience, landscape management pathway, landscape finance pathway, and landscape restoration pathway. And some of our core interventions will be having a lot of capacity building on regenerative and climate smart agriculture. Remember, we said we have 25,000 farmers that we're targeting in both Kirinyaga and Embu County. And out of that, 10% will be youth. So the 10% will also be included in the capacity building initiatives we have to promote regenerative and climate smart agriculture as both a current and a future farmer, where we'll use climate risk mapping, where we'll have a lot of training and capacity building initiatives. And we're also employing digital technology to promote climate change adaptation and good agricultural practices. So our other core area of intervention is integrated landscape management, where we will establish a land management board to just promote collective planning amongst all the players that we have in the county. We know we have a lot of players that are now green-centric and want to promote rehabilitation, restoration, good agricultural practices. So we want to form a coordination bodies that will engage all of them towards collective planning and collective action. So this structure will enable both the county and the private sector to collaborate around a shared vision. So I must say that this is in the formative phase, and we hope that very soon it can be actualized and become live. The other area is private and sector engagement, where we want to work with companies for collective action to overcome the poor sustainability of current production and sourcing models. Livelihood diversification is key, especially amongst women and youth. So we will be working with smallholder coffee farmers, which 10% again, I insist, will be the youth, to diversify their earnings and so that they can be able to meet essential needs at the household level, reach a living income, and ensure that there's reduction in over-reliance on one income revenue stream and over-reliance on the natural resources that we have. So lastly, we are working with partners, financial institutions, both local, national, and international, interested in contributing and benefiting from climate positive management and conservation, and also in green enterprises. So we are hoping that we can plug in some of those finances that we have into the land management board so that it can support its operation. So as I narrow down to the youth targeted initiatives we have and the Mount Kenya program. So top of on the list on the interventions that we're having for the youth around the coffee landscape is enterprise development, where we are working with like-minded institutions like Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology to promote some of the technologies that they have researched on and have proved their viability in order to improve livelihood diversification and guarantee financial security throughout the year. So as my good friend had said earlier, that one of the challenges is that the coffee payout takes quite a long time. So through livelihood diversification in enterprise development, we hope that our target beneficiaries, these are the youth, will have regular incomes coming in so that they have financial security at the household level. So the enterprises that you're looking at is number one, they don't require a lot of space to start up because of the challenges we have of youth in terms of land tenure. This must be very replicable, that it would be easy to capacity build a lot of youth within the landscape. This initiative also must not be very capital and labor intensive, because we also don't want to divert them away from their primary business 100%. We want them to have side businesses that they can do along coffee production that are also very profitable. So some of the initiatives that we're looking at promoting and honey production within the tea landscape, and we have a model around how we can engage youth throughout the value and supply chain. Through our sister project, we are also promoting clean energy as a form of enterprise. So the youth can also be introduced into the retail chain, and we are currently working with a few in some of the select factories that we work with. The other area of support that we are bringing on board is insect farming. There's a current challenge that the country is facing in animal feed production. So we have identified that as a gap, and we want to entice youth to get into insect rearing at the domestic level to help and bridge this gap. Through research, there's steady market for it, and we have already some contracts in the pipeline with some potential buyers. So that one sort of guarantees markets for the youth that we'll be working with, that will be doing this. The other area I mentioned earlier is the youth will not be left out when we're doing our capacity building initiatives in regenerative agriculture and climate smart agriculture. We are also creating 8 centers of excellence within the 2 counties, which will provide steady learning platform for youth in order to enhance sustainability. So these ones will be working jointly with one of the partners that we are working with, that is CMF. There'll also be an aspect where we'll be promoting peer-to-peer learning and exchange forums among the youth to share best practices within the 2 counties and also beyond the 2 counties. So through the land management board that I alluded to earlier, we'll have a representative for the youth cluster who we envisage that will be able to articulate matters that affect youth in coffee and can be addressed through the landscape management board. We envisage that this nominee will champion for support of youth-led products that can also enhance livelihood diversification. And also through our other program, natural resource management, we hope to establish some tree nurseries that will not only propagate the superior coffee varieties, but will also be diversified into other high-value fruit trees like avocado and macadamia. And this will be managed and led by the youth that we are targeting. Lastly, I'd like to mention that through our standards 2020, there's an explicit criteria for youth inclusion with measurable targets. So for this, we are working with the CHS, that is the certificate holders, to ensure that there's youth inclusion during the daily activities. So we want to ensure that the youth are also involved in farming activities. In this case, it's coffee farming, that they're also included in management and supervision activities, that they're also included in decision-making activities. And these have indicators that as shown in the slide where we track annually. So that's it for me from Rainforest Alliance. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you so much, Susan from Rainforest. The next presenter will be Vicky Aridi from Fairtrade Africa. She'll be sharing the screen from her end, and she'll be talking about youth as drivers of systematic change in the coffee value chain.
Thank you so much, Ivy. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
All right. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, it's visible. Just put it on presentation mode.
Yes. Are we all good to go?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ivy, and thank you, Kenya Coffee Platform, for according us the opportunity to be able to share on youth as really drivers of systemic change and being engaged along the coffee value chains. So to kick it off, I'll just share a brief overview of what is Fairtrade Africa, who we are, and then really now delve into youth engagement in the coffee value chain, and then some of the best practices we have learned along the way. So for some of you who are meeting Fairtrade for the first time, Fairtrade is part of a global movement. So we are really concerned with at the core of addressing the different injustices that occur in conventional trade by working together with smallholder farmers and workers to ensure that they secure better terms of trade, which in turn will contribute to decent livelihoods for them being able to fulfill their potential and decide on their future. So as part of the wider international fair trade movement, we have members and we work with over 1.3 million farmers and workers who are certified against our fair trade standards, and they're across 33 countries in Africa and the Middle East. We also have a similar network in Asia, in Latin America, but today we're focusing on Fairtrade Africa. And as many of the speakers before me have said, when we look along the agriculture value chains, now even coffee, we know that the average age of the farmers or producers is around 54 or 55 years. So that always brings about a pertinent question. When we're talking about the next 10, 20 years, who will be there to farm? And we know when we talk about a product like coffee, it takes time. And we know young people want quick wins. They want to see the money. They're not willing to wait that long time. So how do we get them involved? How do we get them meaningfully engaged? And for Fairtrade Africa, even in our strategy for the next 5 years, one of our pillars is sustainable farming systems. So how can we create sustainable farming systems? And at the heart of it is the next generation, the young people, and seeing how can we work with them to build our farming systems to be sustainable, to be climate resilient, and really that they're meaningfully engaged as stakeholders, not just tokens. So I'll now move to youth engagement in coffee, because I remember I have 10 minutes. So just talking about our different programs that we've done along the East Africa context, where coffee is mainly grown, and how we've been able to really engage young people. And something I forgot to mention is that even in our fair trade standards, we recognize that young people are important. So we have a clause that really talks about ensuring decent youth employment for young people along the different agriculture value chains, and inclusion, including of young people, and ensuring that within our producer organizations, which are your cooperatives, they can be meaningfully engaged. So now looking at the different programs, as you can see, there's some in Kenya, some in Uganda and Ethiopia. I'll just take you through each one of them step by step. So Mutira Coffee Program. Now this is really a program that we were able to undertake with the support of Co-op UK and Fairtrade Foundation. And this project was focused on bridging the generational gap in coffee. And young people in Mutira were trained on good agricultural practices and really on coffee farming. And they were also supported to set up a nursery and a clonal garden, which in the first phase, they raised about 200,000 seedlings, and in the second phase raised an additional 30,000 seedlings. And from this project, when we were doing the evaluation and the projections for the next 3 years to come, within the next 3 years, they would be able to raise the quality of the current coffee in the area from 84% to 88%. And then also when we look at the amounts they're going to be able to produce, would be about 2.3 million kgs of the cherries. So really this shows that when young people are meaningfully engaged, they can take coffee to great heights. Then another example is our youth coffee groups in Ethiopia. So as many of you know, Ethiopia is also known as the basket for coffee, globally similar to Kenya. And in Ethiopia, we worked with different cooperatives, so 3 cooperatives, one called Yigar Shefe, another one called Benchmargi, and Sidama. And together with these cooperatives, we formed coffee groups within the cooperatives. And we worked with these coffee groups to train them on good agriculture practices, agribusiness, financial management, and innovation along the coffee value chain, and then supported the groups to be registered, to be formalized as agribusinesses within the cooperatives, and then provided them with seed funding to be able to conduct their different activities. And they came up with fantastic activities. One of the groups decided they would want to supply coffee seedlings. And so they, with the seed funding, they purchased an area, they purchased an area of land. And then thereafter, they raised the coffee seedlings and were even able, within about 6-7 months, able to employ about 31 workers, young people like themselves. And then there was another group that decided to use the seed funding to be able to acquire a loan from a microfinance institution. And with that loan, they were now able to scale up their business even further. So those are just some of the success stories that we're seeing. And then the third one is the Climate Academy, where we had the Kapkiai Youth Coffee Group in Kenya. And you know, when we talk about climate change, it's such a pertinent concern because the climate changes, it affects when the yield can be done, when the planting can be done. So it's very important to even have young people at the forefront of mitigating the effects of climate change. So through Climate Academy in Kenya, through one of our cooperatives called Kapkiai, they formed a youth coffee group, and with the youth coffee group, we're able to train them on climate change adaptation and mitigation practices, also on good agricultural practices, and the different roles they can play along the coffee value chain. From there now, they were able to even train other farmers and participate with other producers as dynamic agroforesters, introducing them to climate resilience coffee types. And really, they were the ones driving the move towards climate smart approaches to agriculture. Then when we look at what happened in Ethiopia, this is now recognizing that even when we look at the, even when we look at the governance structures of many of the cooperatives or producer organizations, even in the coffee sector, you realize that young people are hardly anywhere. You can't see them. And if we don't start to even involve the young people in the governance of their cooperatives, we are still not going to attain sustainable farming systems. So we were working with, in Ethiopia, one of the cooperatives as part of our first phase, and we were working with them to develop a youth shadow board as part of the cooperative, and a youth policy which would, and a youth action plan, which would be signed and committed to by the cooperative to really now ensure that young people are meaningfully engaged as part of the governance structures, engaged along the coffee value chain, and in a manner that allows for intergenerational mentorship and cross-learning. And then still coming back to climate change. Now, this is in Uganda. So we know there is a need to move to renewable energy sources. So through our projects called GPE, we worked with young producers to be able to train them on clean and renewable energy sources, and for them to be able to install for the farmers different clean and renewable energy sources within their cooperatives and also at the household level, so that there's the change towards renewable energy sources. Then we also had an Africa Youth Study, and this was really looking at across the continent, and the 33 countries we work on, what is the status of youth engagement? When we talk about the different agricultural value chains in terms of coffee, what are the needs? What are the gaps? What are the challenges? And what are the recommendations? And youth from different coffee value chains in Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia were very vocal. And they said, when you look especially at young people in the coffee value chains, first of all, access to markets is a big challenge that sometimes even gives us sleepless nights. Also, the issue of access to finance and the need to be trained on financial management, issues to do with access to land. And in some countries, this also has cultural norms that come into play that also affect. And then there's also the issue of exposure to innovative and disruptive ways of doing coffee farming that sometimes they're not exposed to. So those are some of the things that kept coming up from the study, especially from the youth in coffee. And then we go to advocacy with global leaders. We know that if we want to really start change on a higher level, and when we think also about markets, we have to now go to the leaders and the consumers who are very critical in purchasing our products and making favorable legislations for that trickle down and have an impact on our producers. So at the EU Parliament, one of our young coffee producers from Kibinge in Uganda, Ruth Namaganda, went before the EU Parliament and was really advocating for fair prices for coffee produced by young people, by women, and really by all in the East Africa continent, and the need for the EU Parliament to be fair with their climate change promises. Then we also had the Africa Union, European Union Week, where again, our coffee producers together with other producers from different products, the youth came together to craft demands when it comes to climate change. And these demands were presented to heads of state from all the African countries, all the European countries, and they committed to them and said they will follow through. And now that group is really holding them accountable. Then the last one I can mention in the interest of time would be the intergenerational and next generation learning exchanges across Africa, and even with our youth producers from Asia and Latin America who are engaged in coffee. And this is very critical because for young people, the exposure and the ability to come together and build their capacity when it comes to the coffee value chain, when it comes to agriculture in general, is very, very critical. So that's just top line some of the programs that I've just highlighted. And then now moving on to the next slide. Sorry, it has skipped a slide or two. Okay. So what are some of the best practices that we're learning? The first is youth-centered design. So when we're designing a project or a program, we design it with and for young people at the start. We don't just sit somewhere and say, this would be a great program. No, 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 no. Because when you design with young people, they know what they want. They know the gaps. They understand the context better than you do. So they'll be able to help you design a project, and they will own the project because you involve them from the start. The second one is on climate change adaptation and mitigation practices and measures, because climate change is such a critical concern. It's very good if every project could have that's part that deals on climate change, because it's a reality, and also young people are very interested in climate change. So they can even perform additional roles to support the coffee farmers along the coffee value chain. Then 3, looking at diverse opportunities for youth to participate across the coffee value chain. Sometimes we tend to limit the scope where young people can participate, but also realizing that young people are diverse and are not a homogeneous group. So seeing, can they utilize disruptive technologies? Can they provide extension services, marketing services? And still at the same time, what you can do, because again, we still have the challenge of old coffee bushes and older people are the ones planting. They can be engaged in marketing services and still plant 1 or 2 coffee bushes, you see. That way they're still doing what they love, but still contributing to the growth of the coffee value chain in that sense. And then Diversification of sources of income. Income diversification is very, very critical, especially because for many of us, we know how the cycle that coffee goes through. So really ensuring that there's that diversification, and then financial management. When the young people receive their money from their coffee sales or from their coffee production or the different activities, a big gap we always seem to see is financial management. How do they plow that back to gain them better returns? How do they manage it even for themselves? So that's really critical. And then the last thing is consumer mindsets. This is critical because at the end of the day, where's the product going? It's going to the consumer. So if we don't also participate in advocating and changing mindsets that there's a need to support ethical and sustainable consumption, to pay fair prices to our producers, then at the end of the day, young people will still be seeing coffee as, you see, I'm not making the money I would like. I would rather go to the city to get a better job. But if they see that consumers are willing to pay fair prices, that consumers are starting to really be conscious about their purchasing, then that would make quite a change. And then just ending with a quote that we cannot always build the future for our young people, but even along the coffee value chain, we can build our young people for the future. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you once again, Ivy and Kenya Coffee Platform, for inviting me to share some insights.
Thank you so much, Vicky Aridi. That was quite a presentation. I believe you all agree. We have Honorable Albert Mwaniki in the room now. So, sir, we will welcome you to give the county remarks, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me, all of you.
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. I came in when our presentation was going on, and I've been able to listen to the presentation partially. And I want to begin by apologizing for joining in late. I am actually in a different meeting that is physical, which I'm also chairing, that is called the National Technical Advisory Committee that approves projects to counties that are funded by NARIC. Many people understand NARIC. And we may also know that in NARIC, National Agricultural and Rural Inclusive Growth Project, which is a World Bank funded project, there has been an inclusion of the coffee value chain in about 8 counties, both in NARIC and KSAP. And these counties are the central counties, Murang'a being one of them, Kiambu, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, Embu, Meru, Machakos. I don't know whether there are 8, but there are actually supposed to be 8 of them. And one of the focus areas is how to get youth to be in the coffee value chain. What is important is to understand that there are some areas that interest the youth. And it is critical and important that we position the coffee value chain in a way that will attract the youth in the areas that they are more interested in, while of course encouraging them to also get in other areas of the value chain where they can also participate. But there are those obvious areas where they feel that this is our best bet in terms of participation in the coffee value chain. And so we are working with the farmers, we are working with the youth groups, we are working with other organized groups that also have the youth. And we are seeing quite a lot of appreciation in terms of the participation. And one of the areas probably, and I think we all have seen, probably we have also seen, it comes up sometimes within our setups, the area of brewing brewing the coffee, the area of brewing the coffee, the area of probably at the back of the value chain, the area of seedlings, the area of plant protection, the area of distribution of farm inputs. Those are areas that mainly encourage the youth into the coffee value chain. And so while we are not limiting them to that, I feel that we need to first of all encourage them to get into that level, and then they can advance to other levels, including processing, including marketing, and many others. So I know there are quite some studies that have been made, but also there is the practical approach. And the practical approach is very important for us to also determine and encourage our people to work and do that. Something also that has been proposed is the issue of leasing out some of the farms that probably are not doing very well. And the people think that I have the potential, I have the knowledge, I have the energy, I have what it takes, I have the technical knowledge, and the people think that they can lease out those farms. But it has been a little bit difficult because everybody understands how our society operates. Sometimes you'd be encouraged to go and lease out a farm that probably 20 acres, 10 acres. But then there are so many other incidents or incidentals that you need to fulfill. First of all, even getting the owner agreeing is a whole process. Maybe family members are opposed to that. So it has its own challenges. But we are asking that the nodes where the youth are able to be encouraged, then they can delve into that. I think we have other presentations coming up, so I do not wish to take a lot of time. I will still be on. I'll be listening as I dovetail with this other meeting that is going on. Thank you very much. And I hope Karugu is in here. I apologize because Mr. Karugu reminded me, if it were not for you, I wouldn't have remembered that this meeting was on. I'm sorry again once more for joining late, but thank you very much. And we really keep supporting the coffee value chain. I visited Bugoma recently, actually the day before yesterday. And I took coffee from Bugoma that was very fine. And I think we need to really encourage our people to continue growing coffee. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Waziri. Karibu.
So next we have a poll. We'd like to find out who is with us today. So on your screen, you will see some few questions. So the first one is really finding out what kind of organization you represent. But the second one, in the topic of the day, and ensuring that the people we are discussing are on the table, we also have a quick question number 2 that then looks at age, and just in 2 parts, whether you're above or you're below 35. Because a wise man once said, if you're not in the table, then you're most probably in the menu. And we don't want the youth to be in the menu. So it's also good that we understand their representation here today. So a quick one. Let's quickly make our choices. I can see we have about we had about 200 people who had registered for the meeting today, but only 87 are in the room. So, and about 32% of that have participated so far. So feel free to quickly just tick in where you stand. Few more seconds, please. And as we complete the poll, Sheila Agida is next. And I think Kenneth Kagai, I'm sure you had a word from Madam Nzomo. So quick, if you can say a quick one as we continue with the poll. Kenneth, the floor is yours.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Sorry for logging in late. My name is Kenneth Kagai. I'm a director in the Department of Agriculture, Trans Nzoia County. I'm representing Madam Mary Nzomo, the CEC, Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development. So her apologies because she could not be with us. She is attending National Technical Advisory Committee meeting for NARIGE, which is a World Bank project. So her apologies. So in Trans Nzoia, we are really working towards increasing coffee productivity. And thank you, the Kenya Coffee Platform, for inviting us for this meeting, because it gives us very, very good insights on how to unlock the great potential we have as a county for coffee production so that we can drive growth. And from the meeting, I've been able to listen from various stakeholders, the Fair Trade, the Rainforest Alliance, who will like to work with in this region. So in terms of inclusivity of youth in the coffee production, we are really trying to work with them, the estate farmers, and through the cooperative societies. We are roping in the coffee champions, so that especially the coffee estate farmers, so that we can be able to make youth be more interested in coffee production. In fact, we have a few of them in this meeting because we find it very, very useful. So we are working with especially Solidaridad in improving the good agricultural practices, the good manufacturing practices, and also enhancing technologies, innovation, and management practices around the coffee value chain, so that we can show the value or how much coffee can be able to earn our farmers, and especially the youth. So we really would like also to work with other stakeholders in this value chain, so that we can be able to get more youth interested. So we are having several kind of intervention, both at the farm level, at the processing level, and also in terms of extension service provision. So we will be able to reach to some of the stakeholders so that we can be able to enhance coffee production. Thank you very much, Bwana Karogo.
Thank you very much, Bwana Kenneth, and also our regards to Madam Nzomo, and thank her for honoring our invite. So there is even more coming. The second part is you'll get to hear now from the youth themselves and some of the opportunities they've had. I thought by delaying the poll a bit more, I would get more youth, but we are only at 41% youth. But hopefully next time after these, other youth will discover the opportunities and then take advantage of that. So next we have Sheila. Sheila, kindly have the room. Sorry, Sheila, I think you have to unmute yourself. as we sort out Sheila, I think I'll move on to the next speaker, if that's okay. And then we'll come back to Sheila when Sheila is back. So we have Wesley. Wesley, some quick remarks, if you can unmute yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Quite extensive knowledge that we've been listening to. Great to be on this platform. I appreciate the invite, bringing all the stakeholders, coffee key players on one room. So sharing the knowledge whilst listening, there is wisdom. Meaning if we progress on these sections, the unity will be a little bit stronger, and looking forward for the future will be a great value addition to keep playing into the coffee. So we on my side, Wesley, as you can see, but my key section into coffee is the consumer perspective. So we deal a lot into the consumption, skills, training, youth empowerment, educative consultancies, constructing businesses, dealing with the coffee, but the challenge are quite great work to each and every institution that is supporting, paying attention to the coffee plant. However, there is less support when it comes to the key guys, which we call them the baristas, which are the last expertise on the coffee chain. And through their initiative, skills, they add value in terms of consumption. Meaning, if they do a great work to the consumer perspective, then we might have what we call volume production. So I think we have to see how we can put our hands together and see the support coming from all angles to the barista or any expertise into the coffee. We'll be trying all our angles to ensure that the recognition is there, but the challenge is some of the blessings we need are supposed to be tapped from the government institutions. So I'll ask each and everyone who represents or sits, try to be able to share in a way that, yes, we've done our best to recognize the farmer, do all the support that is possible. Alhamdulillah, everything is flowing up very well. However, when will we get this coffee expertise, like a full recognized profession into the Kenya Labor Law Act, so that we can be able to help a lot in terms of renegotiating pay grades, environmental work ethics, and also the growth, because the private sector has taken over when it comes to the youth who are passionate about coffee brewing. And you find most of our brewers who are actually locally trained are focusing on exploring their skills outside the country. So that is not a bad angle, but what we are looking at is, have we turned our backs against the people we are supposed to hold the industry to the next future to come? However, there is still room of a lot to do. So on the KBO section, we focus a lot on fairness into the coffee expatriates, entrepreneurial, equality, teamwork, dependable, and openness. We try to work together to find solutions, especially those youths who have initiated the process of studying the coffee skills to be able to get an opportunity, work, be able to be financially stable and explore and grow, tap into the network we've created through the organizations that they can be able to source or get a job locally. And some of the opportunities we get, 90% of them do not actually come from local, are from the Gulf countries, which I think if everyone here, the people joining, some are with us here in Kenya, some are outside. So we would love to see if you can turn the tables around and take these over so that we can be able to appreciate each and every expertise into the coffee. This is in recognition as a profession, and also the pay grades by regulating all private sectors to be able to at least have what we call a baseline for the introductory entry level. But the challenge is everyone in the private sector do whatever they want. So you find is their decisions to make. But if you have a body that actually can be able to have a voice for many expertise into the coffee, then we can look forward to the future to have more consumed coffee locally than it is appreciated outside our borders. Yes, we focus on growing, we focus on exports. How about our local consumption? So also we can work together to create more awareness into the coffee section, because the knowledge out there to the common mwananchi is actually lacking. We grow very good coffee, we have it, all the process, some of the best quality coffees enjoyed, but it's quite troubling when you come across your fellow citizen and they have no idea what kind of coffee we have. So I think we work together, put our hands together from all angles, try to create all awareness across the globe or across the section of this country. And then yes, we can increase the consumption.
Thank you very much, Wesley. And also thank you for highlighting the position of baristas. Like Wesley has mentioned, we have people here today joining from as far as Kuwait. And one of our second biggest exports, to those countries is youth skill in terms of coffee. So thank you very much, Wesley, for highlighting that. I see Sheila is back. So Sheila, if we can go back to you also in the interest of time, so that then we are able to move with the rest of the program. Sheila, is your audio okay?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you so much, Kenya Coffee Platform and all the attendees. My name is Sheila Agida. I work for Agriculture and Food Authority. I'm a quality assurance officer and also the chair of the Kenya Coffee Events Committee that runs the coffee competitions in Kenya. The next slide, please. So I'll just bring a brief background on what Kenya Coffee Events is all about. In the coffee industry, the coffee world, there are so many coffee competitions. And actually, as a country, and I know just a few people who are aware of these competitions. So when you attend some of these global events, you find out that there's so many competitions that are being conducted. And unfortunately for us, we only participate in the World Barista Championship competitions. And this is where we came about to form the Kenya Coffee Events Committee, which is actually under World Coffee Events, which is a body that manages all the coffee competitions, and it's under the Specialty Coffee Association of America, which has been in existence since 2011. So under the World Coffee Events, we have the World Barista Championship, we have the World Cup Testers Championship, we have the World Latte Art Competitions, we have World Coffee and Good Spirits, we have World Brewers Cup, we have World Coffee Roasting Championships, and we have the IBRIC Championships. We have so many competitions that go under World Coffee Events. And actually, for any country to be able to participate in one of these activities, each and every country needs to be sanctioned by World Coffee Events. So as Kenya Coffee Events, we are sanctioned by World Coffee Events, and we are the only body in Kenya allowed to run these competitions and present the winner, and on a global platform to compete with other competitors from other countries. Next slide, please. So the Kenya Coffee Events Committee comprises of the Kenya government, including but not limited to Agriculture and Food Authority, which is Coffee Directorate. We partner with coffee shops, we partner with hotels and restaurants. We also partner with coffee roasters, we partner with Kenya Coffee Traders Association, and we also have barista training schools like Barista Pro, Dormans, and Kenya KBO, of course, and also other training schools. So this committee is comprising of both the government and the private sector. The next slide, please. The functions of Kenya Coffee Events Committee, we have the official national reference body for coordinating Kenya's participation in both national and international coffee events. As I said earlier, coffee competitions are so many, And for a country to send a representative to the global platform, you need to be sanctioned by World Coffee Events. So as Kenya Coffee Events, we are sanctioned, and that's why we hold the authority to conduct the national and international coffee events. We also identify and plan and implement Kenya Coffee Events nationally and internationally. We mobilize resources for Kenya Coffee Events. We realize that as Kenya Coffee Events, we do not have funds of our own. So that's why during these competitions, we really have to come together and really look for resources and request for sponsorship from different organizations. And then also recruit, train, and supervise judges from competitors. All of these competitions are overseen by World Coffee representatives who have to be flown in and oversee the whole competition. So that's why we recruit, train, and supervise, and also in collaboration with our local judges. Then we also identify, recruit, and award Kenya Coffee Events participants, like the winners, and also those who participate in all the activities. We arbitrate disputes arising from Kenya Coffee Events competitions, because in any competition, there are always disputes. So as Kenya Coffee Events, we come together and act as an arbitration body for those particular disputes that might arise during the competitions. Next slide, please. And as you can see from that slide, Kenya has been participating in the Barista Championships in 2004 up to date. And one thing we are also proud of is that for once, we had Martin Shabaya, who had really made us proud, and we're really looking forward to maintaining the same status quo and also even going higher than that. Martin did us proud and became the first ever African to make it to the top finals during the World Barista Championship last year in 2021 in Milan. And so that also, I just want to take this opportunity to also recognize him and tell all the baristas that they need to look up to him and really learn more about him and be more creative and just engage in this particular activity. Next slide, please. The benefits for Kenya participating in the World Coffee competitions is that our objective as Kenya Coffee Events, we are creating awareness of barista as a lucrative profession. Just like my colleague Wesley said, we have so many baristas, but we, unfortunately, as a country, we are exporting our baristas. Why? Because the barista profession has not been recognized in this nation, and it's a really lucrative position. A barista, you cannot compare a barista and a waiter. They are not the same, because a barista is a really profession who knows how to create to create espressos and so many drinks. And that's why we really have to create awareness in this barista profession. And that is one of our area where we are capturing the youth, because they are so passionate about it. And that's why you find that when they are trained here, they move more outside the country. Another objective is that we promote barista profession in Kenya amongst the youth, as I've explained. We open up job opportunities in the entire coffee value chain. You find out that there are so many opportunities for the youth in the value chain that they are not aware of. But during these competitions, when they come and participate, when they engage, they find out that there's so many opportunities during these competitions and along the coffee value chain. Then we also educate the public about coffee, because when you conduct these competitions, we normally hold like exhibitions. We have education posters that go around and circulate, so that when you come for it, you're not only coming for the competition, but you're also engaging and getting more knowledge about Kenyan coffee and about coffee in general. We also position Kenya coffee as the best in the world. Just like I said earlier, Martin competed with Maguta's coffee, and Maguta, as a young farmer, his coffee gained popularity. So in a way, we are trying to link the farmer and the world and their coffee to the world, and hence helping them to gain publicity and create more publicity for the Kenyan coffee. We also stimulate sustainable domestic and international coffee consumption, because through that, you'll find out that more Kenyans drink more coffee through this competition. We create awareness about the benefits, about everything that concerns about coffee. Then we also foster improvement of quality in all links of the coffee value chain, from farm to cup. So we have already connected the barista to the farmer. So that way, along the value chain, we're also creating and improving quality along the value chain. Next slide, please. So once again, I'd just like to tell you to welcome each and every one of you. This year, we are having the 18th edition of the Kenya National Barista Championship on 19th and 20th at Westgate Mall. You are all invited. And let's come and cheer our youngsters. They are doing so well. And as you can see in that picture, Martin did us very proud. And we'd also love to welcome each and every one of you, the roasters, the farmers, everyone. It's a free and fair competition. So just come on at Westgate Mall, just come and support our young people in this industry. And let's help each and every one of us to grow together, because we are together as a family. We're helping the farmers, and we're also helping everyone along the coffee value chain. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheila. And also, as a call to everyone, please also, if possible, let us help promote these. And also, if you have the funds, if you have the sponsorship, also let us sponsor the national competition. As you see from the picture she's sharing, for the first time, 2 producing countries, both Colombia and Kenya, are in the list of the top. So we are not only good at producing the coffee, but we are also creating opportunity for young ladies and men, to show how to brew that coffee better. So that's a very big step. So you'll get to hear about Martin in the next few minutes. So I'll ask Esther, and Esther, please, let's keep it to at least a minute or 2, so that then in the interest of time, we also get to hear from the others. Esther.
Thank you very much. My name is Esther Otieno. I run a barista school called Barista Pro Kenya, and I'm here to speak on the importance of training.
So, sorry, Esther, please unmute yourself. Sorry.
Muted, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying my name is Esther Otieno, and I run a barista school in Nairobi, Kenya. And I'm here to speak on the importance of training in the coffee value chain. And my focus will be on barista training. And as most of the presenters have mentioned, training takes center stage. And for barista, I'll mention why. For those who don't know who a barista is a coffee brewing expert. And all of us need to appreciate the baristas in the coffee value chain, because the barista, as Wesley has mentioned, is the person with the direct contact with the consumer. Because we are all involved with coffee, and the end game is for people to drink more coffee. And the barista is the one directly in contact with the end consumer. And if the barista messes up, yeah, then the whole coffee value chain is at a disadvantage, because a farmer can do a good job, a roaster can do a good job, a miller can do a good job. Then when it reaches the hand of a barista who doesn't know what they are doing and brew it wrongly, the consumer will get a very bad tasting coffee, and no one will, and everybody will be at a disadvantage. And that is why it is important to invest in baristas. The other thing about training is we need to talk about, we need to inform and educate people on coffee, our friends, our family, and also the professional circles. Because when everybody is well informed, then we have the knowledge, we have understanding, and the relevant skill needed to be able to produce a good quality coffee. So it creates a ripple effect to the value chain, because if we have informed consumers, then the consumers will demand better quality in the coffee shops. The cafe owners will make sure that they hire professional baristas, meaning we'll have more traffic coming to the barista schools. The cafe owner also will make sure that they buy quality coffee that is properly roasted. Again, which will put pressure for the farmers and the roasters to provide good quality coffee. So that ripple effect all surrounds, training, where people have good knowledge, and understanding and the right skill to produce a good cup of coffee. And for the barista training, 98% of our baristas are youth, 98%, because I think the barista profession is more interesting and exciting for the youth because it is fun, it is trendy, it is social. That's why you find in the coffee value chain, the baristas are, sorry, the youth are mostly in the barista and cafe end of things. And I think we should also be involving the hospitality industry in these talks because, as Wesley mentioned, most of our very good baristas are going to the Gulf countries because they are not being appreciated here in terms of remuneration. So they get better paying jobs in the Gulf countries. And now we are losing, you know, good baristas to the Gulf countries. So I think this is a discussion that we should also be involving the people in the hospitality industry. Yeah. So that is it for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esther, and thank you also for, you know, talking about the skill and the fact that even as the competitions happen, if our locals don't go there to pick up the best, the Gulf is waiting. So next, in the interest, we have we look at farming. So next is Peter Mbature from Kamavende Coffee Lab. So there is also opportunity for youth on the other side of the scale in farming and even getting their coffee. Like you can see, this particular coffee is being shown in counterculture. So Mbature, your 2 minutes. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me this chance to present and talk about coffee as an alternative source of income for the youths. So I would say I was lucky to be able to join coffee production early in my life. One of the things that gave me that big advantage was my dad had already set up a washing station, and so when I came back to the farm, it was all about focusing more on like how to improve the production, improve the quality, and yeah, to improve the production, improve the quality, and then do the market linkages. So yeah, for the time I've been in coffee, I can confidently say that coffee provides like a good opportunity for the youths in terms of making money. One of the reasons is you know, coffee is really broad. You know, coffee offers limitless opportunity. So if and considering the nature of the youths and the Kenyan youths, you know, they are quite diverse. So not everyone loves to be at the farm. There are people who love being in the offices and maybe in the cafes and different places. So coffee offers a platform for the youth, from being a farmer to running a consultancy to like testing, being a barista, trading, and so many other things. So yeah, then next for the youth, you know, youths are more exposed to the online platforms as opposed to the ordinary Kenyan farmer. So the farmers we have are a little bit limited because, you know, they are really the average age of the Kenyan coffee farmer is well over 60 years. So I don't expect, and it just comes naturally that the older farmers are not able to take advantage of the online platform to research more, learn more about coffee. And so youths joining coffee farming are better placed when it comes to taking coffee production to the next level. still, I've been in specialty coffee production for the last 10 years. So, it takes a lot of experimentation, a lot of learning and trying to do things differently. I wouldn't expect a 60-year-old farmer to be able to run experiments on like carbonic macellation, like the coffees that Shabaya went out there as a barista to represent Kenya with. So we don't expect the older generation to be able to do that. So youth coming in, for the older generation, it's all about now making money. But for the youths, you have time to run the experiment, you have the energy, you have the opportunity to research more information when it comes to the processing and the markets and learning more about coffee. So yeah, when it comes to the new trends that coffee is demanding, and for us to remain afloat in the industry, we need to embrace the new trends that are coming into coffee. And I feel that youths are better placed, that offers an opportunity for the youths. So, the other thing is the energy that's required in coffee. Whatever platform or whatever part you'd want to join coffee at, whatever level, be it a barista, be it a farmer, be it a trader, coffee requires a lot of like energy. So there's no way a 60-year-old barista would be able to stand like making coffee for a clean 12 hours. So yeah, so still that also offers another opportunity for the youths, Then yeah, so another opportunity for the youth is travel. Coffee comes with a lot of travel. As long as you could be a consultant, you'll be visiting farms, you get to travel within your country, you get to work with farmers outside your country. If you're working in marketing, you get to travel to different parts of the world, get to meet different people, do lots of networking, and that's quite an opportunity for the youth. So when it comes to the challenges, they are huge. So as we had earlier in the presentation, price volatility and uncertainty is a big challenge when it comes to coffee production. So you really can't be able to lock in a price for your coffee. You don't know when you're going to get paid, and especially for the farmers that are working in the cooperative industry, and also even the small estates, it's also quite a challenge. A solution to that would be now having the youths join in, and trying to work on quality, doing the market linkage, creating relationships, going online and meeting buyers. And so once you have like a buyer who's committed to your coffee and who's willing to support that coffee and buy that coffee year in from 1 year to the next, and that's really a big opportunity for the youth. So that would now protect us as producers from the price volatility and uncertainty. So yeah, the other challenge is the entry level salaries that are paid locally. So and as we've had early in the presentation, we've seen baristas moving out of the country and trying to find greener pastures. I feel it's up to us, the players in the industry, to try and push up the entry level wages that we're paying to our baristas, that we're paying to even the workers at the coffee farms, at the washing stations, people managing the washing stations. So yeah, it's quite a challenge, the entry level salary, the wages that are paid to the people working in the industry, even coffee liquorers, the prices they are paid, while working with the marketers, is they're quite low. So it's an area that would call on the stakeholders to try and raise the minimum wage for like the entry level. So yeah, another challenge that's really affecting the youth is less land is available to the youth. you don't have like lots of land available for the youth to engage in coffee production, and that's why some youths would even try to get into like leasing land, but as we had earlier in the presentation, but as they lease land, then how are they able to sell that coffee to the cooperative societies where they are not registered? So it's quite availability of land to the youth is quite a challenge. So the next challenge that we're facing as youth in the production would be now the climate change and pests and diseases. So with higher temperatures comes new pests that we've not been seeing at production level. So the disease pressure is up. Managing the coffee is different at farm level because with irregular rainfall patterns, you find the farmers having different flowering. So how do you manage these flowerings? And I believe it's still the same challenge. It's from the climate change that now we're having some coffees having not passing the test when it comes to the maximum residue levels, because now you have a pest and you have coffees ready. Yeah, you have coffees ready for harvest, and now you have to do a pesticide. So when it comes to the youth coming in now with new knowledge, trying to counter pest and understanding, having better knowledge of even the pest and diseases than the traditional farmer, I believe we're going to be able to cope with the challenges. So the other challenge is the capital nature, like the requirement of coffee at whatever level. So if you're barista and you want to start your own cafe, the equipment quite expensive. If you're a consultant and you want to start your own, maybe a coffee lab, purchasing the equipment is quite a task. If you want to get into farming, and proper coffee farming, establishing the coffee trees, leasing land, cost of fertilizers, the cost of fungicides, and cost of labor. Coffee is capital intensive at whatever level you wish to get into. So we cannot change the prices of equipment, but I believe we can have organizations that are going to support youths who are trying to get into coffee, like supporting the barista championships. It now even opens the youths more, and like they understand, like, oh, we have a field I can get into. We can have organizations supporting consultants who want to run like coffee labs. We can have organizations supporting youth groups who want to plant and establish coffee lists and try to manage new land. So I believe the private sector and maybe the government would come in to support the youth as they try to venture into coffee. But overall, I still believe coffee remains one of the biggest opportunities for anyone, for the youths wishing to find a stable source of income. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bature, and also thank you for talking on behalf of some other youth farmers that have taken up the challenge of land. We have Paul Magesha, I think all the way from Kisii. We have Simon Sogomo from Kitale, and many more. And thank you for showing the fact that then there is opportunity on the farming side. Next, I want to move to Mbula Musau from Utake Coffee about empowering youth with international qualifications. Mbula also happens to be a board member of the Specialty Coffee Association. So Mbula, the floor is yours. You have 2 minutes, please. And if you can do 1.5, even better. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. Mbula Musau, Chief Empowerment Officer, Utake Coffee. Utake is a company that deals mostly in training, but we also do other things. From the name Utake in Swahili, that's a craving. And in English, UTake is a push for domestic consumption. So we very strategically selected this name in order to continuously push the message that of what our role and mandate is in the coffee sector. Our value proposition is coffee that empowers. And I know this word empowerment has been used so many times by so many different people that sometimes it's easy to lose meaning or to confuse it for various things. So I'll just specify how we see empowerment. Obviously, when you drink a cup of coffee, I'm sure all of us here in the room have had a cup of coffee. Even if not today, you've had it before. How do you feel? A good cup of coffee will empower you. But it shouldn't stop at that. There's always questions asked in the process of enjoyment. And these can only be answered by ensuring that skills, knowledge, and understanding to basically give you a better appreciation of coffee are imparted. And so that's the angle which we take. We've talked about youth, we've talked about baristas, but there's also the element of choice. When we present these young people with a chance to look through the entire value chain and see where they can plug in as a result of knowledge that they have gained and skills that they feel confident to use, then we feel like we've done our part in empowering them. So we have 2 locations. We have a Specialty Coffee Association Premier Training Campus located in Syokimau, just before Mlolongo, where we offer international level trainings to all youth and basically the whole age spectrum. We also have a roasting facility down in Athi River where we do the production of our coffees. So our avenues of empowerment are, as I mentioned earlier, training and skill development. We offer international level trainings to give the confidence that a young person or anyone for that matter on the value chain can discuss, negotiate, debate on coffee with sufficient understanding. Previously, this was not available. I remember when I was doing some of these courses, we had to travel very far to be able to acquire these skills. And so ensuring that these are available locally and partnering with existing initiatives to have young people get into this and not see it as a preserve of a certain maybe income bracket is something that we try very hard to do. How do we do this? We partner with initiatives like Kenya National Barista Championship to sponsor the winning barista to do an international course of their choice. And we've seen that this actually builds their understanding and their confidence on the product that they're going to go and showcase on behalf of the country. We also work with local training institutions like Dedan Kimathi to select who they think is passionate and well-equipped to increase their knowledge at that level. And we work with them to sponsor these young people. So far, we've sponsored 5 youth. We try and sponsor youth from the various coffee growing counties. So we sponsored 3 from Nyeri, 1 from Embu, and 1 from Machakos. And then after they learn and they do their Q grader course or whichever international course they choose, we give them an internship for a year because everyone is always asking you for your skills and then experience and where does the experience come from. So we allow them to intern with us, which also gives them a lot of exposure. We have courses that have people coming from around the world. And what I've seen this do to even people who have been in a cocoon, young people who've been in a cocoon, feeling like they have no say in the coffee sector, they get to see that it can be a level playing ground. So this opportunity also not only builds on confidence, but also gives them the type of exposure that they need to venture into the coffee market with confidence. The last thing that I think, and I believe empowerment does is it offers choice. A young person who is only trained as a barista or as a farmer will feel like that's the only place they can plug in. But on understanding an entire value chain, then they feel that they have the flexibility they need to venture and veer into many other places, if they get bored of one thing or they feel like it's not offering what they thought, they can always choose to go elsewhere. Our quality analysis angle also, quality analysis also helps, of course, young people who are growing coffee to understand their coffee. They can then negotiate better for better prices out there in the market. And it also offers an opportunity for the youth who have probably done these qualifications and haven't used them to come and earn a revenue by supporting in the quality analysis process. We've done this with the International Trade Center, for the African Fine Coffee Association conference, and even for importers and exporters. We source Q graders who have been trained locally to do that part and obviously pay them for that. So in that way, we involve them. We don't just leave them with the skills. We find ways of having them utilize those skills. And in the social media space, we've worked with baristas to help them put their name out there. We have the Monday Brew video that we do every Monday just to empower people on coffee preparation and coffee as a commodity and as a specialty product. And we have them participate. We've had former champions, young people coming in and having their skills being showcased in partnership with us. And this is something we're also doing in collaboration with the GIZ in the Coffee Innovation Fund. Lastly, I would encourage all of us to mentor youth. We all are where we are because someone saw something in us and nurtured it and mentored us to be who we are. Youth is one of the main things when it comes to sustainability. However, I'll also hasten to say that youth is very brief. It's a very brief period in our lives. As we've seen from the poll, less than 40% of the people in this meeting are youth. And so it's a very brief time in one's life and should really be fully exploited. We are here older and we feel like if we mentored and allowed access in our spaces of whatever achievement and whatever level of the value chain for youth to come and work with us, see with us, we should be accessible on phone, we should be accessible to be visited and to basically showcase what we're doing with them. Then we'll be able to handhold them to get them where we want them to be in the future. So thank you very much. Thank you, KCP, and thank you everyone for listening to me.
Thank you, Mbula. And down to Embu County. And Vincent, I will reduce your slide a bit. So please, if you can, 2 minutes maximum. Vincent, the floor is yours.
No problem. Good morning, everyone. As you can see, my name is Vincent Muremi. I work with the Embu County Department of Youth and Empowerment. I also work with Filit Production, which is a film producing company. And the reason I'm here is because of a program that we've started here in Embu called Sanaa na Kahawa. In short, Sanaa na Kahawa, as literally as it sounds in English, arts and coffee. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. As I was saying, Sanaa na Kahawa simply refers to art and coffee. It is a community-based organization which we registered as Talented Youth. We are trying to demystify the obvious myth that art is usually related with alcohol and substance abuse. That is why we infuse consumption of coffee within our activities. Also because we come from Embu, which is an area where we grow coffee. So we felt the need to push consumption of coffee among the youth as we support our talent. So Sanaa na Kahawa addresses social issues that largely affect the youth, such as mental health, financial management, and drug abuse. Every Friday, we usually have a program. We call it Sanaa na Kahawa Friday program, where we meet, perform different activities. Most importantly, the Friday program helps us in identifying raw talents for mentorship and empowerment. And it is during this event where we manage to maybe brew coffee from different coffee products and have a taste among the youth. Yes. those are just the visual representation of our activities. But as I can mention something, we are looking at growing to a level of holding festivals. I think most of you are familiar with Blanket and Wines, Koroga Festival, Choma na Ngoma. We now want to have ours, Sanaa na Kahawa, maybe a monthly or after 2 months, a Sanaa na Kahawa festival. We will be having artistic activities and now people coming to brew and taste different types of coffee. This is something that is work in progress, and we are looking at some organization that would be willing to work with us achieve this. Yeah, you can just go through the slides, please. Okay, yeah. So we also observe international events such as cancer awareness, maybe human rights advocacy, but we also conduct mentorship among the school-going children. That is some of our responsibility at Sanaa na Kahawa. And yeah, proceed kindly. You can see some of the activities we usually host on Friday, that is fashion modeling and stage acting. Yeah, still these are some of our activities. I think you can just go to the last slide. Yeah, as you can see, we perform at events, and the most important thing, because this is a coffee platform, is to emphasize that coffee is the product that we usually emphasize on consumption, and hence the word Sanaa na Kahawa. I think, yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vincent, and thank you also for highlighting that even when they have blankets and wine, we can have art and coffee, and also for involving the youth and encouraging them to take some of the right drinks. Next, and towards the end, we have a quick take from our champions. So we start with Tony Gitonga, the National Barista Champion for 2018. So Tony, give us a quick word and encourage the youth before then we end with the Africa champion. Tony.
Hi, everyone. As you can all see, my name is Tony Gitonga, and currently I'm working for Cropster. I'm the East Africa account manager, which is the world's largest provider for coffee software. I'd be willing to share more about it in a different platform. Yes, so personally, I've had a lot of healthy conversations today, and most of what I was intending to say has been said. But what I can say is currently the local consumption is just below 5%. And it's sad because we produce some of the best coffees. We have passionate baristas. I've worked with so many of them, and I believe we have great talents when we stand among the top countries with greatest talent when it comes to coffee production and even preparation. So with the right support, and in this platform, I see the right people that we can work with towards achieving this. With the right support, we can scale up the local coffee consumption in so many ways. I do have different ideas, and I'd be willing to share with you guys on a different platform. And with that, I believe we can really grow it. Another thing, I want to thank you so far for the support that you've offered. We cannot, of course, not acknowledge that, we cannot afford to recognize that. So we are grateful for that. And we hope that we can also move forward in different platforms, in different ways to scale up the consumption and also retain these great talents that we have here locally. Someone said that part of what brings youth to coffee is art. I know farming, I have friends at farming level, and honestly, not many youths are attracted to that. But the barista profession attracts lots of youth. Part of it is because they know they get opportunities abroad. And also, for me, for my case, what brought me into the coffee industry is the art. I just wanted to learn how to do the art in the cups, and it's something that I achieved. And you can all bear witness that once you get in the coffee industry, you can not just stop there. So each day is a learning day. I started off with the art as my part of interest in learning. And now from there, I've really grown as a person and also changed my perspective on how coffee, how I used to view coffee before. And one of the things that I can tell the youths in this platform is that coffee is very broad, extremely broad. And we have so many opportunities in the coffee world. Let's not just look at the ones that we've always known, because there are so many others. All we need to do is, once you get into that space, the coffee space, all you need to be is passionate. Always strive to learn more, and the right opportunities, to be honest, will always follow you. And that's all I can say for now. And thank you very much for that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony Gitonga. And also thank you for showing us you can be both a barista and also involved in coffee roasting software and coffee management software. So the youth that think it's only farming and baristering, I think Tony is a good example that it can even extend to one of the world's most used coffee management softwares. So next, but not least, we have Martin Shabaya, the African barista champion, but also the world #5 and the world #2 producer champion. So Martin, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I honestly feel privileged to have been invited in this platform. Thank you very much. And as you've heard, my name is Martin Shabaya. I'm a barista by profession and a brand ambassador for Sanremo coffee machines. I am the current national and Africa barista champion, and I was recently crowned world #5 in the latest World Barista Championship in Milan. I feel privileged again for the opportunity to be one of the few baristas locally who have raised the ranks and been a solid source of inspiration to many youth and coffee enthusiasts, not only here locally, but also the world at large. That means a lot to me. And of course, I must mention this year, I won't be competing on stage, but I'm actively involved in the training and nurturing of many young baristas participating so we can maintain the standard that has been set on the world in terms of Kenyan coffee and barista ranking. Otherwise, it is really encouraging to hear such wonderful visionary efforts and ideas that are centered in promoting local consumption and youth empowerment. And I would finally want to recognize the full worth of the growing specialty coffee scene here locally, which has been enhanced by the training centers or schools coming up, coffee events like the National Barista Championship, and also the specialty cafe that are coming up in town. Yeah, so thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you very much, Martin, and also thank you also for offering the platform, to be able to support others to keep the same standards that we are having. So I'm sure for the GAF participants in this meeting, they are busy looking at who's the next coming up. So way forward, Sheila talked about the upcoming championships. So we're also using this opportunity first to highlight it, but also two, especially whether it's from the counties, whether it's from the companies that are here today and other stakeholders, to support. I mean, this year Kenya was #5. Last year Kenya was #5. So in Melbourne, if we are less than that, then, and I'm sure South Africa is looking to pit us out of this. So kindly support at the county level if they are youth and so on. I'm sure KNBC also has some hits in different places. So please showcase these people and let them help us. We were to have a vote of thanks from Peter, but I'm sure KNBC also has some Sorry, let me mute. Yes, so we were to have a vote of thanks from Peter, but he had to rush out for a meeting in Kirinyaga. So I will open up the floor to one person to give a vote of thanks and then also pray for us. And for this one, the first person to open up their mic maybe can. Oh, sorry, Karogo, I see you. You might want to say something before we have one volunteer give a vote of thanks and then say a prayer as our time is at the very end.
Thank you, George, and thank you, everyone. I think I mentioned this when we started, that the Coffee Next Generation is intended to engage ICU members and all coffee stakeholders to work together with youth organizations, including leaders and associations, international organizations, development and financial partners, and coffee consumers to invest in the youth and bring to life their innovative ideas and enthusiasm to benefit the whole coffee community and to recover from the pandemic, building a more prosperous future. I think today we have seen that there is so much, even for us who are more familiar with agronomic aspects of coffee, we had so much to learn also as far as coffee is concerned in other value chains. So I think for me is one we would call upon all the stakeholders and to the millions of the coffee consumers and lovers to celebrate coffee and to contribute to building coffee next generation. I think today we have seen this happen, and we hope we'll be able to bring more of this. There is so much that needs to be learned. And if it were not for time, I don't know. I think, George, maybe you could allow maybe 5 minutes just to have 2-3 reactions from the plenary. I know people are asking questions and we don't have that much time, but perhaps you could give 1 or 2 questions, and then we can have Dr. Kimemia moving a vote of thanks. Thank you, everyone. George?
Thank you, Chairman. So for the questions, I would like also to open it up if we have a youth lady also, so that then the gentlemen are not the ones asking too much. So we'll have about 2 questions and one of them from a youth lady. The floor is open. I think the ladies are shy. So I've seen a couple of questions. Yes.
Sorry. My name is Eunice Magwambo from Solidaridad. So currently when we're doing field visits in the areas of Kericho and Bukoma County, we find that the challenge that youth are facing mostly is that land ownership. And this comes in where most of them get land ownership when it comes to marriage. So it forces some of them to go into early marriages and acquiring land so that they can start participating fully in coffee and earning from it. So maybe my question will go to Mwaniki, because he's part of the institution that is tackling youth, especially in terms of property and how they can own land to practice coffee. So maybe what are some of the mitigations that are in place for youth to actually fully own or even get the leasing to start practicing coffee? Thank you.
Thank you, Eunice. And we'll pass the question to Albert because I think he's jumped back into the meeting that he had. But we'll pass that question to him. One more question, please, and then.
Hi, my name is Marvin from Clan Barista. We have really had a lot. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We have had interesting thoughts in terms of supporting farmers, supporting the youths, and how youths can be involved in all this. Mine is not quite a question, but a challenge. I guess the coffee industry has come of age to start doing more research on creating tools and creating apparatus to be able to use in terms of brewing, in terms of extraction. So I'm posing a question to the industry of what can we do, or is it time for us to really start thinking of how to support, like what we have addressed on, we want to create awareness for people to be able to enjoy coffee everywhere. But how are they going to enjoy that coffee? Mostly people are using sufurias to make the coffee, right? But we have so many apparatus, from the French press to so many other methods. So how can we help those people access those products easily and with lower prices? That is my sense. So that challenge probably will be addressed. And again, I guess value addition is something that I've not had it very much touched on, in terms of not the process per se, the coffee process, but something like, we have kombuchas in the industry now. Coffee again can be used to make very nice kombuchas. We've not explored iced coffee, selling commercially iced coffee, the nitro coffees and stuff in the supermarket. So I guess that is something else also we can tend to look at. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marvin. And I think your question and comment only just goes to show how much, if we have structured youth involvement in coffee, then the ideas would flow. So we welcome that, and we wish we had more time even to showcase many of the other participants, just to show what the opportunities are. But I think, as you've mentioned, Marvin, I think one of the next steps, in addition to sharing all the contacts of the people that have spoken today, is really to think about how do we put together a youth strategy for coffee, so that then we have something that is guiding us, because we can already see we are moving forward with this unstructured system. But how much more then can we gain if we structured this particular intervention? So I'd like to give it up to Dr. Kimemia for a vote for the floor.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman, for this opportunity. Thank you all the participants for this beautiful webinar. There was so much to learn, even as we who have been there for some time. There are new frontiers that we are also learning. So I want to thank each and every participant who has participated. I want to thank all the speakers who have taken their time to prepare, and they also come and present. I've seen all the many opportunities that are out there in the coffee value chain. And I think it will be a great honor for this webinar if we look along the value chain and see where there are opportunities. We have focused coffee so much in the urban areas, but I'm sure the rural areas are still untouched. Particularly like now, there's this sort of code, I know coffee would be welcome. So I think I want to challenge also the baristas to come up with the simple ways of making coffee in the rural areas that you can end up with a nice cup of coffee. So that's something that we can also become another revenue source for our young people in the rural areas. But I want again to say thank you, KCP. For this good work, and also let's say on the behalf of the Global Coffee Platform board, where I sit, I also want to congratulate the Kenya Coffee Platform, led by the chairman George, for the good work you are doing, and we keep it up, and we move our coffee a step further up. Shukran, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Ivy, if you can lead us with a closing word, and then guests can leave at their own pleasure after the prayer. And let's support KBC and move forward. And thank you very much, Dr. Kimemia, for the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. We are so privileged and honored to have you. I will say the prayer as we leave and enjoy our weekend. And also, just before you leave, I will be playing videos of how the barrister champion, Martin Shabaya, was able to represent us in Milan, and also just a short video of how you like your coffee. So you can stay in to just enjoy that. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful that you're with us today. Thank you so much for bringing us to this moment, Lord. We have been able to know so much about the coffee industry and how we can be able to collaborate and be able to have strategies for the youth so that we secure the future of coffee in Kenya. Jehovah God, we leave everything in your hands, oh God, and pray that may you lead us and guide us and give us wisdom even as we go forth and impact the youth, and even as the youth, Lord, continue to be sensitized and also continue to grow in this industry. We give you all the glory and all the honor. This we pray in Jesus' mighty name, amen. Have an awesome weekend. I'll be playing the videos shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll also take a quick picture as we wait for the video.
I believe connection is the most important ingredient, the one that has the power to bring us all together closer, despite the challenges we've gone through the last 2 years. But by being able to chase the perfect balance in this cup of espresso, together with Sam, Sash, and David, I really cannot emphasize the value of teamwork and innovation to revivify our great industry, to inspire our great community of coffee for us all. Thank you very much. That's my time.
Thank you. The link will be shared with the report. And thank you all. And also thank you for those that joined us all the way from Uganda and Kuwait, sharing our strengths. And
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. So we'll take a quick picture, and you can leave at your pleasure. If you can put on your camera, it will look a bit better. Thank you.
And Grace is shy.
George, kwani uko kwa shamba?
Eh.
Sawa tu.
Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you. Good day.
Tudumishe amani.
Using the an espresso machine and an espresso grinder. So we'll go through each step by step on how to grind the coffee beans, dosing into the portafilter basket, distributing from even extraction, and then tamping, and then we'll brew the shot. So be sure to follow me in each step. Thank you. And that's it. Enjoy.
Namnam.